Okay, hello everyone. This is another chapter under the Organizational Psychology, Leadership and Management. Okay, let's dive into the detail. All right, so what is leadership? What is management? Okay, in this study, we're going to investigate the concept of leadership and its key characteristics. All right, so leadership is more of a leader. It's a person that inspire growth, inspire the followers to a particular vision, a particular goal, bring them into a level of, um, let me say, cognitive skill or competence, whatever the case may be. Management, on the other hand, okay, they try to manage a particular, um, let me say, organization or group of people, as the case may be. All right. So leadership, bringing people from one level to another. Management tends to ensure that okay, the skill are maintained. Okay, everybody actually are able to cope and function very well productively. All right. It is not uncommon to have someone possess both skills. A good leader should have a management skill as well. Anyway, moving forward, we have different theories to talk about under this. The first one we're going to look at is the Universalist theories of leadership. Now, this focuses on personal qualities. All right, the theory emphasizes universal characteristics found in all great leaders. It looks at their characteristics. Characteristics here talks about their personal traits, their personality. Okay, something that is unique about each person. Okay, so it looks at innate leadership traits, suggest that leadership quality are inherent and not learned, according to this theory. Okay, they are not learned, they are rather inherent. There is something about them that make them leaders. Okay, this supports the nature side of the debate that leaders are born to be leaders. Okay, what do you think? You might disagree, but then that is the theory. Okay, great person theory. All right, origin. It was proposed by Thomas Carlyle in 1840. It was originally called the great man theory, but over time it became great person. Now, the core belief of this theory is that great leaders are born, not made. Leadership traits are innate and instinctive. Okay, so that means they are born with it. Great leaders are born to be leaders. All right, it's also extended to say that, okay, if there is a need for a particular leader, then such leader will emerge with the trait that is needed to fill those positions. Okay, what do you think? Do you support that? Do you think leaders are actually born to the world with the traits and skills they possess to meet certain needs and fulfill certain missions? All right, or the other way around? Okay, so the debate, this relates to the nature side of the debate. All right, now what are the key terms here? We are moving to other terms. We have charisma. What do we understand by charisma? Quality of being charming and appealing, inspiring devotion. You have a quality that is charming, all right? Okay, and then making people follow. Transformation, on the other hand, ability to produce significant change in a situation. Transformation is more about change. So that will lead us to charismatic leadership, which is still under the universalist theory. The first one is great person theory, another one is charismatic theory. All right. So this kind of leaders have exceptional skill. They possess exceptional interpersonal skills and charm to inspire others. So there is just something about them. You might find it hard to explain their confidence, their visionary. All right. They have just this approach to things. There is just something about them that make you love them and then you want to follow them. All right. So potential drawback, they may display unstable behavior or challenge legitimate authority. So that's one issue about them. Okay, their behavior might not be well structured because the lead based on their flow, based on their skill, their competence, not really following a particular set of instruction or principle or procedures. All right, it's just something about them. It's just a skill that they have, and then they use that to lead. Okay, so the other one is the transformational leadership. All right, these are people that inspire change. Okay, you might want to look at maybe the motivational speakers. All right, they all always fall under this category because they want to bring about change in the people. You might discover some motivational speakers that after listening to their speech, right away you just want to go on and start impacting the world, or maybe effecting the change in one or two areas of your life, so at that particular moment you just feel the need for change. So they inspire change in followers to create significant change in their life. Now they also encourage thinking. They encourage independent thinking and mobilize change in people. All right, they also uphold values, moral values. They care for their followers, and then they boost their morale. This is a transformational leadership. Okay, transformational leader. All right, moving on. The next one is behaviorist theory. We spoke about universalist theory, now to behaviorist theory. All right, this focuses on behavior. All right, instead of the personal characteristic, the personal trait, this rather focuses on the behavior displayed by leaders, not their personal skill. All right, so this theory emphasizes leaders' behavior rather than personal quality. All right, it concentrates on what leaders do rather than their innate characteristics, what they do rather than their personal skills. All right, so this suggests that leadership can be developed through practice and experience. So this supports the nurture side of the debate. All right, so this is like the opposite of the universalist theory. So what do you think? Do you support the universalist or the behaviorist? You can comment in the comment section below. All right. According to Ohio State University, who carried out a study looking at leaders' behavior, they discovered two major behavior. The first one is initiating structure, and the other one is consideration. So these are the behaviors displayed by leaders. So initiating structure basically means assigning tasks to people, all right, setting goals, creating groups, defining objectives, monitoring standard and deadline. So giving roles and responsibility to people generally. All right. Consideration on the other hand, which is the other behavior, is demonstrating genuine concern for workers, feeling, establishing trust and rapport, improving confidence, just having this kind of close relationship and tie with the people. All right. So these are the two behaviors they found that all leaders actually or let me say, can be found in leaders. So you might find some leaders with both. You can find some that have one predominantly and then the other as a passive one. So it depends. All right. So another study carried out by University of Michigan, yeah, around the same time, okay, but it's separately. They also found similar results, but they used different names to coin it. They have task-oriented behaviors and relationship-oriented behaviors. So the task-oriented matches the initiating structure, all right, and then the relationship-oriented also matches the consideration behavior, all right. So the results that came out from both studies are very similar. Now, another type of leader is the adaptive challenge. Okay, so we're done with the universalist theory, the behaviorist theory. Now moving to the adaptive challenge. All right, so now this deals with or let me say there is a need for this when organization begin to grow to a complex um, setting. All right, you can have a company in a particular country and then you want to grow, become multinational. In such situation you need to adapt, you need to change the pattern, you need to review your method, you need to grow in your mind and in the physical state. So a lot of things needs to change and you need to adapt to the new environment you find yourself. All right, so um, adaptation require leadership required. Now leaders must adapt to evolving challenges, shifting responsibility, from leaders now to people, and the new organizational norm. All right, so they can develop new behavior, new traits, and the likes. Okay, now according to IFED's adaptive leadership, mobilizing people to tackle adaptive leadership means mobilizing people to tackle tough issues to adapt to it and then to thrive. So they don't make people shy away from issues. Rather, they expose them to challenges and they help them to adapt. All right, there is assistance provided. They help them to adapt to different situations and then they help them to thrive in it. All right, so they become better. They surmount their challenges. So that way they are able to become better. All right, so that is the reason it is empowerment focused, emphasizes empowering the worker rather than solving problem for them. Okay, when you solve problem for people, you don't make them grow. Rather, when you push the problem to them, you expose them to the problem, and then you help them, you guide them to overcome it, then they become better at solving issues themselves. All right, so adaptability, it encourages leaders and organizations to adapt to new challenge and environment. Okay. um, all right, now, so what are the principles of adaptive leadership? Number one is get on the balcony. So this basically means that adaptive leaders try to move away from the challenge, stay at a strategic position where they can see the overall issue. Okay, they can see the overall situation, observe what is really going on, what is the reality in the organization, how can we better, how can we improve our condition. All right, so they get on the balcony, that is, they try to detach themselves in order to be able to observe effectively. That's what is meant by get on the balcony. Another one is identify adaptive change. They recognize need for change and how much change should be applied. All right, so this is another behavior. Excuse me. All right, another one is regulate distress. They try to manage stress level in order to motivate people. They do not want them to get overwhelmed with the situation, but rather to be motivated to solve challenging situation. So another one is maintain disciplined attention. All right, they ensure that people maintain a focused attention. They try to focus on the issue, and then they are not distracted. They do what exactly is expected of them. All right. Now, the last one is give work back to people. So rather than solve problem for people, they push the problem to the people to solve themselves. Okay. Now, example of adaptive leadership. There is a particular movie, 12 Angry Men. You can watch it if you have the time. It's actually good. You can look at the character Henry Fonda in the movie. All right. There you can try to identify certain behavior he displayed as a good leader, as a great leader in the movie. Okay. Yeah. Comparing traditional and adaptive leadership. Okay. So traditional rather is a routine kind of leadership. Okay, define problem and solution. Okay, get to the problem and how to solve it. All right, adaptive leader on the other hand, identify challenges and ask questions. Okay, ask questions to verify what is really going on. Why is this like this? All right, now traditional try to establish staff responsibility. Okay, adaptive leader question roles and responsibility. So they are very inquisitive. All right. Another one, traditional shield people from threat. Adaptive expose people to manageable threat or pressures. Traditional resolve dispute and maintain order. Okay. Adaptive let conflict emerge and look for ways to solve them so that people become better. All right. Another one, traditional maintain existing norms. Okay. The routine, they protect the norms. All right. Adaptive leader question and redefine norm to analyze and evaluate and review the norms of the organization. Okay, so research method and the leadership studies so far, according to the study of Ohio State and Michigan studies, okay, they collected substantial data from diverse organizations. So that is broad, which means there is high generalizability. They collected data from a lot of leaders, a lot of workers, different kind of people, different kind of leaders, and from vast um, cultural background. Then it can be easily generalized. Okay, Effect's adaptive leadership model, on the other hand, it lacks thorough empirical research backing. It's rather a theory as against maybe an experiment. Okay, it's not an experiment. It's not a scientific um, evidence. Okay, or let me say a scientific research. Rather, it's a theory. Okay, so there is limited evidence to support it, and it's difficult to validate the model's principle and claim. Okay, so issues and debate around that. Natures and nurture. Now, great person supports the nature. Behaviorist supports the nurture. Individual versus situational. Adaptive leader focuses on managing uncertain situation. This raises question about inherent leadership ability. Since adaptive leader, they try to manage uncertain situation, they question the norms, they try to manage situations that will arise, issues that are yet to happen. They're very flexible. So there is a possibility that it might be something in them. It might be an inner trait rather than um, the situation they find themselves. So it depends on how you want to look at it. It might be that it's the new environment that is promoting them to actually look for the situation. You may also want to define it that they already have a particular trait in them that helps them to find solution to every situation they find themselves. Okay, so usefulness and practical application. All leadership theory have been applied globally and it has been impacting many organizations successfully. Okay, now another part is the leadership style. You have the democratic versus autocratic. So based on previous studies, this is the focus of people when they are looking at styles of leadership. How do we lead people? All right, it has rather been a study on democracy and autocracy, who should make the decision. So these two elements reveals the decision aspect. Okay, so democracy prioritize social equality. Okay, it values followers input in decision making. All right, so everybody is invited to make decision in the democracy. Autocracy, rather, it maintains control over decision. That is, the leader has the sole responsibility of making decision for everyone. Okay, so let's look at the study done by Mugzaik and Raymond. Looking at leadership perspective, they discovered that okay, democracy and autocracy are not the only thing to look at. And then they came up with the idea that it depends on followers' willingness and ability to participate in decision. Okay, so the effectiveness of the idea you made, the decision you made, okay, rather depends on the ability of followers to be willing to participate. So it brought all out the idea of participation. To what extent are we, or let me say, are the followers willing to participate in the decision a leader made? So when we are looking at effectiveness of a leader, we are looking at two categories now. We are talking about the decision making aspect and we are talking about the implementation aspect. All right. So the decision making aspect can be done by either the leader alone or both the leader and his subordinates. And then the implementation aspect can be handled by only the leader, that is giving the followers the instruction on how to do things, or you also allow the followers to um, go ahead with the autonomy on how to do things themselves. All right. So those are the two ways. So Mosaic and Rehman came up with the idea of direction, the level of supervision and guidance after decision. That is the instruction given to people on how to do things. Okay. So they came up with four different categories. We have the democrat, a directive autocrat. So directive is actually giving instruction on how to implement. Permissive is the followers um, handling, or let me say implementing the decision their own way. So directive autocrats will mean that the leader make the decision alone and then gives the follower the direction on how to implement it. Okay, so directive democrat will be that the leader invites the follower to make decision with him. They make decision together, but when it comes to implementation, the leader gives direction on how to carry it out. Okay, permissive autocrat, all right, the leader makes the decision alone, but when it comes to implementation, he gives the um, followers the autonomy to make decision on how to implement it. So permissive democrat, on the other hand, okay, the leader invites the followers to make decisions together, all right, and then when it comes to implementation, they also have the liberty to carry the activity out in their own way. So which of the four do you prefer? You can make comments in the comment section. Okay, now insight into leadership dynamism. All right, key contribution: separate decision making from execution. All right, so that's one important aspect that we've learned here. Separate decision making from execution. They are two separate things. All right, distinguish between deciding what should happen and make it happen. So there are two things: directive versus non-directive leader. So directive and permissive. Okay. Levels of leadership according to Scholar. Now we have the public leadership, you have the private leadership, you have the personal leadership. So the personal leadership is the level where the leader is able to motivate himself that, okay, I can do this, this is something about me, this, I can convince myself, or I convince myself that, okay, this is who I am, this is what I can do. All right, so it's more about self-mastery, your psychological growth. It's something inside of the leader himself. How motivated is he about his personality, about his leadership skills? All right, the private leadership now is the level where the leader is able to motivate people directly, that is, people that are close to him, people around him, is having a particular small caucus, a particular small group of people where you can, or let me say, influence them directly. Okay, the published leadership level now is the level where the leader begins to influence group. Okay, so um, mostly people try to develop this, and then it moves to this, and eventually to this. So these are the three levels according to Scholar's result. Now, evaluation of leadership model, we have participating and directive behavior. This can be tested in diverse organizational settings, so application is very good. This relies on self-report using standardized questionnaires and interview, and then you know the issue with that, there could be social desirability bias, there could be subjectivity in self-assessment. For the Scholar 3P model, challenging to test due to lack of psychometric measurements tool. All right, so it's more of a theory. There is no tool to test if that is really true or not. Okay, psychometric test talks about maybe a method of testing, maybe a questionnaire or something, anything that tests that behavior. So there is none, so which makes it difficult to uh, replicate the theory, or let me say carry out scientific research on it. Okay, it emphasizes nurture over nature in leadership development. So it talks about more of the behavior the leader develop. Okay, how he's able to motivate himself, how he's able to motivate people around him, and then the larger group as a whole. So it offers practical insight into the nuances leadership demands. Okay, so however, it gives us the different level or different ideas into what is required of a leader, okay, in one way or the other. All right, now, so leadership style and gender. You have a key study by Quadrado et al. So we want to look at the aspect of gender when it comes to leader. So is there any effect of gender on leadership style, or let me say leadership perceived effectiveness? Okay, so it has been discovered that there is underrepresentation. Women are underrepresented in leadership role. What do you think? I think nowadays there are changes though, but to what extent are there changes? Okay, stereotypes. This study also explore how stereotypes about male and female leadership style. Male leadership style, it's more like a dominating leadership style. while female leadership style is more like this the soft skill, this democracy, this level of okay, let's do it together, teamwork, um, um, leadership style. So I'm not saying in particular that this is male leadership or female leadership. It is just a stereotype. Okay, it is, let me say, assumed, okay, or observable. Not necessarily that that is the reality here, but it's just a name coined out to explain those kind of leadership style. All right, I believe that is okay. Now, women, there's an idea that women may face prejudice or bias or judgment. Women may face a form of being judged, all right, when adopting traditional male leadership style. Okay, when a woman is trying to be dominating, she may face these challenges or issues compared to a man. What do you think? Do you think if women are bossy, it gives you a strange appearance about them? Okay, so that's the essence of the study. All right, so what is the research method? They used 136 psychology students, 53% women, 47% men. Their mean age for the women is 27, for men is 29. Okay, so for variables, independent variable. Now, we have the leader's gender. So what they basically try to do in this study is to evaluate. They are to look at a particular leader, a supervisor, and then they will evaluate what they think about the person. Okay, that is the idea. What do you think? Do you think the leadership style the person adopts is good or not? So they are going to, for example, individually, they will look at a male using a stereotype male leadership. They will look at a male using stereotyped female leadership style. They will look at a female doing um, either of doing the two leadership style as well. All right. So this are what the students are going to evaluate. Now, the independent variable, we have the leader's gender. The leader can be a male or female. The evaluator gender, all right. The evaluator can also be a male or female, depending on the situation. And the leadership style is in male stereotype, which is the dominating, and then the female stereotype, which is the relationship based or teamwork based. So the dependent variable is the efficacy of the leader. How uh, what is the level of efficacy? How efficient do you think the leader is? What also about the capacity? What do you think about the leader's capacity? How functional do you think he is? And then the last one, adjective-based evaluation. Any other adjective you can use to qualify the leader. All right, so methodology, it was a laboratory experiment, and then they used independent group design. The procedure, participants evaluated descriptions of leadership with varying leadership traits and completed anonymous questionnaires. All right, so they evaluated the supervisor's leadership traits depending on the leadership style they adopted. All right, so what is the result? Female leaders that are using autocratic style, dominating style, receive significantly more negative evaluation. So if a woman use this style, they will receive negative evaluation than male. So male also can receive, but however, female received more than male. All right. Participants showed clear preference alignment with traditional gender role. All right. So there is clear relationship with uh, traditional role. So they preferred women to be democratic, and then they preferred men to be autocratic. All right. So there is a difference with that when it comes to preference. Okay. Leadership effectiveness rating showed bias against women using masculine types styles. Okay. So there is bias there according to the evaluation. And do not forget, those that evaluated them, uh, they were even more of female, 53 female and 40 something male. Okay. So male evaluators rated autocratic female leader more harshly than female evaluator. Okay, female evaluators still rated them fairly enough, but male evaluators see them as not being good when a woman is trying to be bossy over a man as a leader. All right, the men found it to be not, or let me say, it's not nice. They don't find it good. All right, so democratic leadership style was perceived as more effective overall. So when you compare democracy versus autocracy, overall democracy receive more likelihood. Okay, however, when you analyze the different aspect of it, okay, the gender and the other ones, you will discover that okay, the result you mentioned earlier, you will also see what goes on with the autocracy is still good for man compared to that of a woman. Okay, gender role congruent leadership style received highly competency rating. Okay, so when it comes to gender role, okay, it is effective, or let me say, a man is still okay to use autocracy compared to a woman. A woman is still better to use the female type of leadership compared to using autocracy. Okay, so there is a clear bias around that. Now, the methodological evaluation, the strength, they use a laboratory setting. So it's good. There is control variables. The balanced gender participation. All right. So although it's not exactly the same, but it's fairly balanced. Clear variable manipulation. All right. So the control the variable limitation. Student sample may limit generalizability. Okay, artificial scenario to poses a threat to ecological validity. People might behave differently when they see them in real life because, you know, potential social desirability bias as well. Now, validity, good internal validity, but external validity is low. All right. Statistical power, adequate sample size for detecting medium effects. So the sample size is fairly large, okay, which is nice. Reliability, high internal consistency in measurement scale. Also because it is in a laboratory setting, there is controlled variables, so there is a level of standardization. Okay. Now, leadership practice inventory, all right, which is a questionnaire, all right. Number one, we have model the way. These are behaviors of leader. Set a personal example and clarify personal leadership philosophy. All right, that is the concept of model the way. All right, inspired a shared vision. According to this behavior, you must be able to describe a compelling future. So it's not just to have a vision, it's to be able to describe that vision to people such that it appeals to them. Okay, challenge the process, experiment, take risk, don't use a routinary action all the time. Enable others to act, give room for people to also take up roles, very important. Treat them with respect, support them, encourage the heart, motivate them, praise them when need be. Very important. Please keep all this information in mind. Okay, now followership. Now, what is followership? The behavior and ability of individuals to actively follow a leader. All right. Now, what is the importance? Recognize the crucial role followers play in an organization. So, if you want to study a good leader, you should also study a good follower, because a good leader is not a good leader until he's able to adopt a skill or a perfect skill that matches what the follower, or let me say what will help the follower. All right. So depending on the follower you have, you might not be able to tell if you're a good leader until you are able to adapt to the follower's need. All right. So relationship to leadership highlights the interdependence between leaders and follower. Okay. So three styles of followers, according to Kelly, 1988. We have the sheep. These are the passive people. They lack initiative. They relies on supervision. So they are not initiative. They are not. They are passive when it comes to action. You know, they are also passive when it comes to making decision. Okay. The yes people. These are people that are committed, okay, to leader and task, but uncritical when it comes to their thinking. They are not really analytical. They are not critical, but when it comes to action, once they listen to the decision of the leader, they are up and doing. They want to kickstart. All right. We have the survivor. These are people that are adaptable. They avoid controversy. They align with group sensors. So these are more of people around they are just a bit of everything. Okay, they are a bit of everything. We have the alienated followers. These are people that are very critical. Okay, when a leader brings a decision, they will review it, they will analyze it, they will evaluate it a lot. Okay, and eventually they can be passive as well. Okay, they are not this. The yes people are active, but the alienated followers are passive. They really don't want to do a lot when it comes to implementation, but when it comes to decision, they are very critical. They can think and think and think and analyze a lot. And then the effective follower, which happens to be the best category, they are positive, they are independent thinkers. They think not in a way to bring out negative things, but they think in a way to suggest growth. Okay, they critically evaluate leadership decision, and then they are positive. All right, so they are positive, and then they are very active as well. They are active, they are not passive, they are positive, and so basically, when it comes to um, the decision making and then the execution, so they are good with both. All right. So key qualities of effective followers: they have good self-management skill, they are independent, critical thinking, and reliable action. They are committed, they're dedicated to group goals and vision. They are competent, okay, possess necessary skills and pursues self-improvement. They are courageous, they uphold ethical standard and provide honest feedback. Okay. All right. So practical implication of leadership and followership. Adaptive leaders must adapt to followers' need and situational demand. All right. There is no one rule for all. You need to review them a lot. So follower development training program should target less effective followers. This is the application of knowing the theories we mentioned earlier on followers. All right, this will help you to develop or devise trainings that will meet their needs to boost their engagement, especially those that are passive, and also to encourage independent thinking and also positive thinking. All right, so balanced approach recognize the importance of both effective leadership and followership for organizational success. So you can practice this at your place of work and improve your followers, improve your leadership style. All right, so that is it. Thank you very much. I hope this is helpful to you. For those preparing for the exam, for a business person trying to start his business. All right, these are theories that you can adopt. So they are very important. All right, thank you very much. Please, if you like this video, please try to click the like button and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, as I'm trying to boost this channel, hoping to reach 1,000 followers. Okay, so please be supportive. All right, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.